Lighthouse Lessons, Islanders. Yesterday we said that God is great, and that's what our number 1 medallion said. So we can pull up the map. Yes, number 1 represents that we have one true God. Today we'll be going over this medallion. And this has 3 words written on it: omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. Today we're going to be learning about what those 3 words mean and how important they are. So we can just attach this to Alright. So today we're going to be learning about Jonah. Our Bible account starts with God telling Jonah to go to a place called Nineveh. Now, let's pretend Nineveh is over here. God wanted Jonah to go there because it was a really bad city and people didn't know about the one true God. So Jonah was supposed to go and tell them about God's judgment. But Jonah didn't want to go there. He was scared. He didn't like the people there. So Jonah decided to go in the opposite direction. Let's pretend over here is Tarshish and this is Nineveh. So Jonah directly disobeyed God's will. He went and got on a boat. But the Lord sent a big wind and a huge storm. This made the boat rock, and the sailors were really afraid. They thought the boat might break into pieces because the storm got so bad. They started throwing all the supplies off the ship to try to make the load lighter, but it wasn't working. The storm raged on and on. During this whole time, guess what Jonah was doing? Yup, he was sleeping. The captain went and got him and told him to call on God. The sailors had already figured that Jonah was trying to run away from God. And Jonah knew that God sent the storm because he had disobeyed God's command. He always knows where you are. So Jonah told the sailors that if they were to throw him overboard, that God would stop the storm. And as soon as they threw him off, guess what? The storm stopped. The waters completely stilled and the skies were completely at peace. And guess what happened to Jonah when he fell in the sea? God sent a big fish his way and it swallowed him right up. He spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the big fish. Can you imagine what that feels like? It was big and it was sticky and slimy. Do you think God knew that Jonah was in the stomach of the big fish? Yes, he knew. And God knows everything. He knows everything at all times. He knows where we are, and He's even with each person all the time. He knows if you're hiding under your bed. He knows if you're hiking in the woods or if you stole the last cookie. Wherever you are, God knows it. So God knew where Jonah was, and God was with him, even though Jonah thought that he was going to die. So Jonah started praying to God, and God heard his prayer and answered his prayer, because on the 3rd day, the big fish threw him right back up. God had the power to send that storm. He also had the power to send the big fish to swallow Jonah, and he had the power to make the big fish throw him right back up. So, I have a question for you guys. Do you think anything is too hard for God? Absolutely nothing is too hard for God, as the Bible tells us. He can do anything he wants to do. Do you think it's hard for God to make a star or a planet, or for God to see in the dark, or to see at the bottom of the ocean and top of the highest mountains? Is it too hard for God to bring Jesus back to life? No. God is almighty. He has all the power. He's our amazing, all-knowing, all-powerful, always present God. And the great news is, He's also kind and loving, and He cares about us. So He can always use His power for our good. Can you imagine if He was the God of the universe, but He wasn't good and kind? What a scary thought. But He is good and kind, and He is the King of everything. Let's call on Sunny and hear a little more about this. What in the world are you wearing?
This is my superhero costume. I'm pretending to be Supergirl.
What are you pretending you can do?
Well, I have the power to stop a speeding train with my bare hands or freeze time.
It's fun to pretend, but you don't think you really have superpowers, do you?
No, I don't. But Supergirl sure does. Have you seen how she can fly around?
Well, guess what? That's just pretend too. The superheroes you see on TV and in the movies and in your computer games are just make-believe. They aren't real.
Aw, so there's nobody who has superpowers for real?
Yes, there is. There is one. Only one.
Who? I bet it's Spider-Man.
Nope.
Maybe Batman?
No. Remember, those are just pretend. But the one with true superpowers is God. God isn't like anyone else. God can do anything.
Like what?
Well, for one, He knows everything. He's never had to go to school to learn anything. He's known everything forever.
You mean God has never learned anything new?
That's right. We're learning new stuff all our lives, and even then, we only know a little bit there is to know. But God always has known everything. He knows how many drops of water come to earth in each rainstorm. He knows where each bird is and how many feathers it has. He knows when an ear of corn is picked. And the Bible says He even knows when you sit down and when you get up in the morning, every day. He knows when you go to bed, and He knows what you're going to say before you even say it. He even knew you before you were born because He made you.
Wow, what a mighty God.
Yes, and God not only knows everything, but He also has the power to do anything He wants to. He's loving and kind, so of course, everything He does is for a good reason.
Well, what kind of power does He have?
Well, He has power over the weather, He has the power to make it rain or stop raining, to send a rainbow, or to make a beautiful sunny day. He has the power to make plants grow, to hold the planets in place, to heal our scrapes and sicknesses and diseases, and even to create an animal.
Wow, incredible.
Well, another amazing ability is that God is everywhere at the same time.
You mean God is here and God is across the world with the boys and girls there too?
Yep, the Bible tells us if we go to the highest spot, the lowest spot, the farthest spot across the world, or anywhere, God is there. He can even go deep, deep down in the sea, where Flip the flapjack octopus lives. It is pitch black down there, but God knows where every creature is, including Flip.
It's really great news that God is always with us. That's something to remember when I get scared and feel alone.
Remember that you're never alone. You can't see God, but He's definitely there, loving you and watching over you.
Wow, God is great and God is good.
Yes, He's both great and good, all the time. If we're His children, we can know He's our kind and loving Father who is always with us and knows all about us. That's awesome.
That's so awesome. I'm going to go sit in the dark for a minute and remember God is with me.
Okay, Sunny, you do that, and we'll see you tomorrow. Let's say goodbye to Sunny, everyone.
Bye-bye.
So, next we're going to be reviewing what our three important O words mean. The first is omniscient. What do you guys think omniscient means? Well, omniscient means all-knowing. Do you think God knows exactly what gravity is? Well, yes, because He made gravity, and He made the scientific laws that govern it. He knows everything and how everything works. He knows exactly how long, to the second, it takes light to reach from each star to Earth. He knows how many eyelashes are even on your eyes. And He knows which bunnies, zebras, fish, and puppies are going to be born today. He knows how many blades of grass are in your backyard and how many drops of rain it has rained today. He knows when the next snowstorm will be, and He knows just how unique every snowflake is. Nothing surprises God, ever. And God never needs to learn anything new. He's always known everything about everything forever. He didn't even need to go to school. So let me repeat this wow fact once more, and let it really sink in. God never really learns anything new. Forever, He has known exactly what a tarantula will be like, and a dragonfly, an iguana, anything you can name. God knows everything, and God is almighty. Our next word is omnipresent. What do you guys think omnipresent means? Well, omnipresent means all present, and As we know, octopuses are masters at hiding, like our friend Flip the flapjack octopus. Flip the flapjack octopus reminds us that even if we think we're hiding, there's nowhere we can go that God is not. Flapjack octopuses are mysteries of the deep, and they're down at the bottom of the sea in the darkest black, and not much is known about them. But God sees them, and He knows right where they are. Nothing is hidden from God, including flapjack octopus. So God is everywhere, at the same time, all the time. Let that mind-blowing fact sink in. He's everywhere, at the same time, all the time. There's absolutely nowhere you can be that's away from God. Our next word is omnipotent, which means all-powerful. So, God has healed many sick people, and that shows that He has power over sickness and disease. God has given people like doctors and nurses the ability to use medicine and operations to help sick people. And He's even given scientists the talents to develop those medicines and procedures. But only God has the power to heal people on His own, according to His will. God told a dead person to get up, and He did. So yes, He has power over death too. Who else can bring a dead person back to life? Nobody. Only God has that power. Every bird shows God's power, and every time someone gets well, you can see God's power. Every thunderstorm shows God's power, and every time someone becomes a child of God, you are seeing God's power. Now let's go over our questions for the day and see what you learned. Our first question is, who was our animal pal today, and what does she remind us of about God? Next, who tried to run away from God, and why? What did the sailors do with Jonah? What happened to the storm when the sailors did what Jonah asked? What does the word omniscient mean? What does the word omnipresent mean? What does the word omnipotent mean? True or false? God can handle every problem that we have. How does it make you feel to know God is with you all the time? Can you think of an example of God's power or presence or knowledge? Let's take some time to learn about your responses. And now let's go over the answers. Our first question was asking about our animal pal today and how does she remind us about God? Our animal pal today was Flip the flapjack octopus, and she is deep in the mysterious dark bottom of the ocean. But God knows exactly what she's doing and where she is, since we cannot hide from God. Next question is, who tried to run away from God and why? The answer is Jonah. He tried to run away because he didn't want to go to Nineveh, because he was scared of the bad city. Next question is, what did the sailors do with Jonah? The sailors threw Jonah overboard. What happened to the storm when the sailors did what Jonah asked? The storm completely stopped. The word omniscient means that God is all-knowing. He's never learned anything, and He's always known everything. What does the word omnipresent mean? Omnipresent is a word for all present, and this means that God is present everywhere, at the same time, all the time. He's here right now, even though we can't see Him. What does the word omnipotent mean? The word omnipotent means all-powerful, and God can do anything He chooses, except anything evil or wrong, because He's perfect and holy. True or false? God can handle every problem we have. This is true. God can handle everything that is thrown at us. How does it make you feel to know that God is with you all the time? Well, there's a lot of answers for this, but one word is you feel safe knowing that God is with you. Can you think of an example of God's power, presence, or knowledge? This also has a lot of examples. Everything shows God's power, the way He made the world and the way He made us. Now let's go over our verses. This is our verse for the week. I will extol thee, my God, O King, and I will bless thy name forever and ever. Psalm 145:1. This is our theme verse, and I hope that you guys have learned it. We introduced it yesterday, and I hope you guys can continue to try to memorize this. And now we have a new verse. This is our verse of the day. Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? Jeremiah 32:27. In this lesson, we learned that nothing is too hard for God because He is omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. Those are our 3 very important words today. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.